Hey guys, Will Roundtree here, your author of Credit is King, one of your favorite credit books. Definitely not just a how-to, but it's really just a guide talking about maintaining credit, how to build credit for your kids, and different things like that. But more importantly, today, well, first of all, make sure you subscribe to this video, like it, share it, comment, do all those wonderful things. But what we're going to talk about here today in this video, and I'm going to give you some vital information, some life-changing information, is that 89% of our thoughts are negative. 89% of all of our thoughts that we have on a daily basis are negative. So it reminds me of a story about when I first got involved or introduced to entrepreneurship. And I can remember going to a business meeting. We all hate the infamous business meetings. And I can remember being in that meeting, sitting down with my arms crossed, legs, crossed, hanging out, and thinking I'm too cool. And so the speaker at the front of the room was talking, and he said, "Excuse me, you may want to take some notes on this." And I was like, "No, I'm good." He was like, "Well, being cool will keep you broke." and that was such a profound statement because at the time I was broke. This was around 2002. I had just got laid off from my job, and here I am thinking I'm too cool to take notes from someone who's a multi-millionaire in his industry. And so the reason I like to share that story is I hope that you're going to take this information and be able to run with it. Like I always say, a short pencil is better than a long memory. And that's the very quote that I actually got from the gentleman where I was in the meeting where I thought I was too cool to take notes. And so the reason I say 89% of all thoughts are negative is because every single day we're surrounded by negativity. You turn on social media, you turn on the news, you go to school, you go to your church, you go to work, you go home, depending on what your situation is. We deal with negativity all day long. They say negativity sells. No one cares about the truth when a lie is more entertaining. So they have all these different cliches and different things like that talks about negativity. They say rumors and negative news spread quicker than positivity. And so what I really want to just shed light on is that one of the things that gets in people's way is their negative thoughts. One of my mentors once shared with me, he said, "Well, you need to work on yourself before you work on your business." And I said, that makes a lot of sense because in anything you do, it's all about the mindset. Think about it. If you work in your regular, 9-to-5 job, you have to have the mindset to wake up, get dressed, drive in traffic, go to the job, deal with, a boss you probably hate, deal with coworkers you probably don't like. You have to have a certain mindset to deal with that day in and day out for the next 40 years and retire. And hopefully they give you the gold watch when you retire, So it's really no different. If you can take that same mindset and apply it to something that you're passionate about, I'm telling you, opportunities will create themselves. I always tell my clients, when you find something that you're passionate about, opportunities will create themselves. Doors will open up. And long and behold, you'll find out opportunities are dropping in your lap and you're not even knowing where all your blessings are coming from. They say, the great philosopher Jim Rohn says, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll be blessed beyond measures. So it was my purpose to go out and help as many people get what they want. And in this particular relation, it's helping them understand their mindset. Again, tying back to 89% of all thoughts we have are negative. Think about this. 80% of things that we worry about, we have zero control over. 80% of things that we worry about, we have zero control over. So once I learned that, it's almost kind of like, when you have a vice and you admit it to the world, it no longer can grip you or attack you. So understanding that 80% of the things that I used to worry about, I have no control over. And so when I was able to release that burden that was gripping me for all those years, I now have a new walk through life on how I view things. Because if it's something I can't control, I'm not going to worry about it. And so you kind of have to have that same mindset, because when you can change this, then this will change. So now the more positive thoughts you have, because you're no longer worried about the things you have zero control over. If your child goes to school and something happens where he's being disruptive, granted, you can discipline them. Granted, you can, speak with them and coach them and whatever you're going to do to help them understand what they were doing was bad. But at the same time, you can't control their actions. You have no control over that because you're not within their vicinity. Someone telling you no because they decide not to do business with you, you can't control that. Now, when I hear no, I just hear not right now. And eventually they will be a client of ours. But, you can't control that. So only focus on what you can control. And again, that's the things, of positive thinking, the power of positive thinking. Now, one of the things we can control and one of the things that, we can start to build upon positive thoughts is, and this is a diagram that someone showed me in relation to helping me, build my business, to be able to come from humble beginnings, from being homeless to, getting my vehicle repossessed, from, having odds and ends jobs, from, literally, having to get a cosigner as a 25-year-old man. All those different things, any type of pitfall you could think of, I've been through it. I used to play a game called Beat It to the Bank, meaning that I would get my paycheck and I would try to make sure that everything cashed or the money was deposited before the bill collectors took all my money and I got the insufficient fund fees. So, but now to be able to take everything that I've learned and all that struggle and journey to be able to position me now to have a multi-million-dollar company that we were able to build in 3 short years. So, and how I was able to do that was learning one of the principles that I'm about to show you right now. So again, if you haven't liked or shared this video or subscribed, make sure you do it right now and today. Okay. So there's a diagram. Now, there's two relations, or there's two things in relations to business, life, entrepreneurship, or whatever that you have. You have time and you have money. Now, some will argue and say time is more valuable than the money, and you need to have the time in order to get the money. Now, when you're starting off in business, again, when you know that it's going to take and require a lot of your time in the beginning. You have a bunch of time and you have very little money in the beginning. So, but this is generally where most people give up because you've worked 40 hours on your 9-to-5 job, and then you come home and work another additional 40 hours on your business, but you haven't made a dime. You are going out there, to every single networking event. You're investing in all these different programs. You're investing in your education, your coaching, and doing this and the third. And all that time you're spending, and someone told you, you still doing that? You still trying to get rich quick scheme and all these different things that the negative Nates always are trying to tell you. And because you're not making much money, you then become discouraged and you go into that 89 percentile of the negative thoughts. Oh man, maybe this stuff doesn't work. Maybe this is not for me. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I'm not tall enough. Maybe I'm not good looking enough. But it's the ones who persevere through those things. I always share with people, I worked on my business for 6 years without turning a profit. But I also knew that I was always going to bet on myself because eventually the money will catch up with the time. Because again, if you ever seen the movie The Karate Kid, Daniel-san was learning all the techniques he needed to win in the tournament just off the everyday activities that Mr. Miyagi was teaching him. So that's why it's important to put that time in, because you never know when that information is going to play a vital role in helping you to excel in what it is you're trying to excel at. So we're, just kind of trucking along. And as you see the diagram, you're investing less time, but you're making a little bit more money to where eventually your time is not used as much on the, as I call it, the grunt work, but your monies are increasing. or it's your profits or your revenues or your sales, whatever you want to call it, to eventually to where you're able to scale your business, you're able to leverage your time, but now you're making all the money. Think about it like this: the job or the company that you work for. Do you see the owner? Odds are the owner is not there pushing papers or making phone calls or doing anything like that. He's on an island somewhere. He or she is on an island somewhere, sipping out of a pina colada with their toes in the water. But that's because they understood the power of leveraging their time based off of the mindset that they had of the things that they control. If I put the time in, the money will come. And so that's really what I want, you to really understand about this. And this whole diagram changed my entire mindset, because what it taught me is that I just had to hang in there. I just had to continue on. I just had to persevere. I just had to fight, because everything that I was learning along that time really was just giving me positioning to be able to ultimately hit my goal. So hopefully this information was of value to you. Again, now you no longer are going to be a part of this 89 percentile, because you now know better. And when you know better, you do better. 80% of the things we can't control, no need to stress or worry about. I mean, think about it. The highest contributor to death is stress. So we can actually have a better, longer living qualities of life just by lacking or not stressing about things as much. Now, I get it. You may say, Will? I'm stressed about money. I'm stressed about finances, my relationship, or whatever those things are. But guess what? All of those things are fixable. You just have to dig deep down inside and find out what it's going to take for you to overcome and climb out of those things. And I guarantee you, if you invest the time to find out, the money will eventually come. So again, guys, Will Roundtree here, your favorite author of the book Credit is King. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel today, and I'll see you guys at the top. Okay.